General Bipin Rawat from his young days as an officer. I've been his instructor. He'll go away so soon. Anyway, we can't fight against what the gods will. So you know that's a honge kamyab. You know, if you lose, what will happen to your country? What will happen to your mother, sisters? Chance to take part both in 65 war and 71 war with Pakistan, and hand-to-hand fight sometimes, and I had the good fortune of sending a lot of enemies up. Thousands of bullets came on me. Nobody will die if your death and life are in God's hand. So don't worry and send your children to defend the country. It's a very noble profession, highly paid profession, got a lot of prestige and a lot of regards. So
హలో ఫ్రెండ్స్, వెల్కమ్ టు అవర్ ఛానల్. సో ఈరోజు మనతో పాటు ఉన్నారు ఫార్మర్ జిఓసి దక్షిణ్ భారత్ ఏరియాకి సంబంధించిన బ్రిగ్ హెన్రీ భాస్కర్ గారు ఉన్నారు. సో ఆయనతో మాట్లాడి అసలు ఇండియన్ ఆర్మీకి సంబంధించిన విషయాలు కావచ్చు, లేకపోతే రీసెంట్గా ఫ్లైట్ క్రాష్ అయిన బిపిన్ రావత్ గారి గురించి కొన్ని విషయాలు మాట్లాడి తెలుసుకుందాం. సార్ నమస్తే, హౌ ఆర్ యూ సార్?
thank you.
సో హౌ ఆర్ యూ ఫీలింగ్ బై హియరింగ్ ద న్యూస్ ఆఫ్ రావత్ గారు?
I'm feeling very sorry because it's a personal loss to me, because I know General Bipin Rawat from his young days as an officer. I've been his instructor, and I kept a very close touch with him, and I worked under his father as a staff officer. So he's my sort of kind of family friend. He's been to my house and I've been to his house, and it's a very personal loss. So I'm feeling very, very bad. I never thought he'll go away so soon. Anyway, we can't fight against what the gods will.
Okay, so tell us about yourself, sir. Like when you are posted in army, and what's the process to join in Indian army?
You see, right from a childhood, I have a great desire to serve the country. And when I joined the college, I was in the NCC, and I was a senior under officer. And after serving in the NCC, it gave me a lot of inspiration that I must join the Indian Armed Forces and serve. And my NCC officer gave me a lot of encouragement, and so I decided to join the army. Without my knowledge, my NCC officer filled up the form, everything, and I went for the interview. I got selected, and I did my training in the Indian Military Academy at Dehradun. Then I was commissioned in the Mahar Regiment.
At the age of?
I was 21, just about 20-year old.
20
right?
years old, okay.
And commissioned in the Mahar Regiment. But Indian Army training is entirely fantastic training, because I am from a combat arm. Okay. Combat arm means the fighting arm is called infantry. Okay. There they give you, inspire you so much that you cannot lose. They motivate you that losing is no option, always winning is the culture. Okay. So you know that's a honge kamyab. You know, they say if you lose, what will happen to your country? What will happen to your mother, sisters? So you have to win. And we will not win, we will not lose. So that sort of winning mentality comes in, and you are so motivated and raring to go and sort out your enemy, right? But and every infantry officer has an ambition, a dream to take part in the battle, you know, to serve the country and do something for the country. Fortunately, in my case, God has given me a chance to take part both in 65 war and 71 war with Pakistan, both right in the front. Forefront, and hand-to-hand fight sometimes, and I had the good fortune of sending a lot of enemies up, you know, for the country, and I played a very small part in the overall victory of our country in both the wars.
Sir, at the age of 20, you have joined in Indian army. So, did your family supported you?
No, actually, I was the only son of my parents.
Okay.
I got two sisters, but initially my mother was not very keen. She said, army means you die. But since I was so determined, then they started supporting me. Okay. And let me also tell you one thing, I make use of this Mira channel to say that during 1971 war, thousands of bullets came on me. Oh. Thousands of bullets came on me, because anyone tried to capture me. I ran away and went running, and they followed me, and after ceasefire I counted, thousands of bullets came on me. So, therefore, if you join the army, you will not die unless God wills that you will die, you will die. Therefore, I want to advise all the viewers that please do not hesitate in sending your son and daughter to the armed forces to defend the country, because nobody will die if your death and life are in God's hand. So, don't worry. And send your children to defend the country. It's a very noble profession, highly paid profession, got a lot of prestige and a lot of regards. So it's a great thing to serve for the country. And I'm very happy. And I got only one child, only one son. He's also in the army. He's a colonel in the army. He's serving. Okay. I don't know whether my grandchildren also will go to the army.
Okay. So your son is also in army?
He's a colonel in the army.
Oh, superb. Okay, sir. So when you are in starting early days in army, so did you felt any difficulties like missing your home, like any fears you had?
You see, in serving in the army, it's not like any other job. You must have a passion to serve. It's a love affair. You know, you have a passion to serve. Only then you can serve well. And anybody who joins the army, he undergoes so much of motivation, you forget about the house, mother, daughter, everything. Your only aim is you're focused to serve for the country, win war for the country. And even in war, everybody is scared, but only scared for only 5 to 10 minutes. After that, you're not bothered, and only thing is want to win. But before we go to the war, we are given battle inoculation, like they give in the, the injection for COVID, like that. Okay. We are given a battle inoculation. That means we are put through all the firing, all the blast, everything. So we are mentally attuned. So when that happens, we are not scared, but scared for some time, but we'll get used to it. Once about after 10, 15 minutes, half an hour, you're okay. I mean, you're not worried about what is going to happen, but you only want to focus to win the battle for the country.
Okay. So, in which year you have joined in Indian Army, sir?
1962.
1962. And you are retired in?
2008.
2008. Oh, these much years. So, how do you felt you have passion and you have dedicated working style. So, when you are with colleagues, so what the support you got from colleagues?
You see, in war, there's everybody supports each other, because you have to fight. So we developed a lot of spirit core brotherhood during peacetime training. That's why you have the officers' mess. You eat and dine together, you develop so much of brotherhood. So everybody supports each other. When battle is on and somebody is in danger, everybody goes to help out. So it's a lot of brotherhood, a lot of support, a lot of cooperation is there. So it's a beautiful thing to work as a team. Even a Jawan's support, and if a Jawan is in trouble, we go and support him, because it's a team affair. We want everybody to be safe and win the battle for the country. Nobody wants to die for the country. We want to make enemy to die for the country, not you. Right? This is the attitude.
So, what was the difficult task you have faced in your career? Difficult task?
The most difficult task was I was given, during 65 war. After the war is concerned, every inch of the territory you capture is used for bargaining purposes, the ceasefire time. So, in 65 war, the last day of the battle, enemy tried his best to overthrow us. And one element came inside the defences and started blowing off our defences and coming towards the battalion headquarters to kill the commanding officer. That time I was told to take few men, go and intercept and stop this and kill those people. When I went there, I saw somebody in the pitch dark, thick of the battle, firing going on, somebody coming in front of me. In battle, there's no silver medal, there's no only gold medal, or there's no runners-up in battle, either quick or the dead. So when I saw that man, I know he's not our own soldier. Suddenly I opened my carbine and let go. And it's hand-to-hand battle, absolutely. If I had not done it, he would have killed me, killed all my colleagues, the 3, 4 boys with him. So that's why I stopped that, killed him, and saved the situation. Otherwise, my battalion would have been run over, and there would be a big calamity, and we would have lost so many lives and area to the Pakistanis. And later on, we realized that gentleman whom I killed is called Major Razvi, who is the nephew of a very high general in the Pakistan Army, and he has been awarded the award of Sitare Zurat. Sitare Zurat equal to Paramveer Chakra in Pakistan Army. Super. This is the toughest task I underwent, And one more task I underwent, that was in 71 war, where I was surrounded by 7-8 Pakistanis, Pathans, soldiers. And I dropped a weapon, my boot, because I marched, I was very tired. So I got hold of the clutches using unarmed combat technique. I started running. As I was running, they followed me and a lot of firing came on me, and I hid myself in a small brick lane. I was breathless. They were looking for me. They call it kafir. Pakistan army call Indians kafir. Kafir means non-believers. They don't say Indians kidhar hai, they say kafir kidhar hai, kafir. So I was hiding. I was taking my breath, whether to surrender or to stay there, run away. So if I surrender, I would have a big catch because I was a major. A major becoming a prisoner of war is a big publicity item. So I decided to run back towards my troops. So when I run back, they also started firing, thinking that I am enemy. The firing in the Indian firing in the front, Pakistani firing in the back, I am running towards them. But however, God's grace was on me, and Jesus Christ saved me, and a lot of firing coming on me. I am here to win the battle for the country and give this interview to Mira Media.
Fine. In any job, even in our jobs also, we'll feel like we feel some depression. So, did you ever feel an depression in your career?
Yeah, there are a lot of things you see when your colleagues dying, when you're getting blown off. You feel very depressed, but we get over it. See, we are trained to get over it, not become emotional. We get over it, but there's a lot of dull moments and bad moments are there. It's not always full of roses. It's always ups and downs are there, but we get over it.
Okay, so how you face the climatic conditions? Climatic conditions.
Climatic condition, you see now in Siachen, for example, you fight against two enemies. One is climate, one is the enemy. So climatic conditions are terrible, but fortunately, Indian Army has given us so much of clothing and protection, so that we are fairly comfortable. Of course, not very comfortable, fairly comfortable with all the clothing, other facilities we've been given. We will be able to continue protecting the country.
Okay, so if somebody is going to join in Indian Army, so what will you tell them?
I tell every boy and a girl who's eligible, who's in a good physical condition, physical fitness, must have the passion to serve the country. After all, if we don't defend the country, we can't hire people to defend the country. Therefore, it's okay to be a IT engineer, IT or anything like that. It's okay. If everybody want to be an IT engineer, who is going to defend the country? So I want to recommend to all the boys and girls, you try at least for short service commission, serve for 5 years, and you will see your life is totally reformed, because the army teaches you so many things. When you come out, you will be a very, very successful person. Therefore, my advice to everybody, all young boys and girls, please join the defense services, be it Army, Navy, Air Force, and you'll if you don't want to serve old time, you can serve short service, come out. That 5 years training will make you a better human being to face the life.
Okay, sir, you told being a Indian Army, you should be a passion and dedicated. So every job needs discipline, dedication and responsibility. So being an army person, whenever you go into the society, did you feel the people in the society are responsible?
You see, when you see your civilian counterparts, they are not that kind of a dedication, devotion, discipline, but we are from the same stock. We are not from the different stock. We understand. So we try to tell them, listen, you do like this, you do like this. But there's a lot of difference. We feel a little demoralized and disappointed when we see that the government is paying them also. Why they are not dedicated? Because of the training. They didn't have the training what we had. Had they gone to the training, undergone training 2 years like us, they would have been like that. Probably they didn't have the training. But however, to be honest and dedicated thing is individual trait. Individual trait. You can't generalize the whole thing. But however, compared to many, I travel all over the world. Compared to many countries, our counterparts and civilians are much more devoted, more patriotic, more hardworking, more sincere than many other countries.
Sir, in Indian Army, what are the things which we learn, which you can say to the people to learn or to get a better citizen?
First is, that teaches you to be honest, because in army, first you are a gentleman, then officer. If you are not a gentleman, if you are doing dishonest things in the war, you will be the first man to get the bullet in the back. Your troops will shoot you. So you have to be honest and set a personal example to honesty and sincerity and dedication. So that's one thing. Secondly, you have to be brave, positive in outlook, because onge kamyab. Always if you see God or help the brave. There's a saying in English, God help the brave. If you want to win, if you want to be brave, God will help you. So you got to be positive and always think of the welfare of the country. You think of the country, country will take care of you. You must always think what I can do for the country, so think what I can take from the country. You give, the country will give you. So you have to be a good citizen and good human being, and see that what you can do for the country, so that the country will give you. And be honest, be sincere, be dedicated, be motivated, and spread love to all around here, and that's what we have been taught.
Sir, if anyone who wants to join in Indian Army, is there any age limit, sir?
Yeah, 24 years for officer, 24 years.
Okay, 24 years.
It should be below 24 years.
Below 24 years. Okay, any educational qualifications like?
Yes, to be an officer, you got to be a graduate.
Graduate.
That's all. To join the NDA,
Okay.
you got to be +2. Then you have to see. In the army, you have to undergo CDS, Combined Service Exam by the UPSC. Then you have to undergo a thing known as Services Selection Board. That's the 5 days procedure where they'll test you whether, unlike any other service, maybe IPS, IAS, this is not there, it's only the defense services, whether you fit to be an officer. Because there's OLQ, officer like quality, is there or not. There's a very scientific way of doing it. If you get through, then you'll become an officer. Firstly, you have to pass the examination, then go through the Services Selection Board thing, then you do training.
Okay, fine, sir. Generally, being an Indian, we will salute to the Indian flag like this, right?
Yes.
So there are different types of salutes for Army, Navy, and Air Force.
Yes.
Why like that, sir?
You see, Navy, they are always the hands of, they're working the. So when you salute, they don't want to throw the dirty hand, so they salute like this.
Okay.
Indian Army, you salute like this. Yes. The salute means, in those days, why you salute means to tell others, look, I'm not carrying any, I am unarmed. Okay. So don't be worried, I am a friend, I am not hiding any weapon with me. That is so the close hand. That is the history of signing. That this saluting has become changed over because the Navy salute like this, Air Force salute like that. But salute means just show your hand to your front of people who want to wish.
So let people make comfort.
Yeah.
That they are not having any weapons.
I am not armed. I am not going to harm you.
Okay, fine. Sir, about Bipin Rawat Garu. So your rapport between him and you, and what are the memorable things you have shared?
You see, General Bipin Rawat, the first defense staff, chief of the defense staff, I have very close association with him because I've been his instructor in the junior command course. Okay. Right? And not only that, his father was a Lieutenant General Lakshman Singh Rawat. He was the corps commander. I was the general staff officer with him. I was a staff officer. Okay. So that both the relations put together, I've been close to General Bipin Rawat. Whenever he visited me, and he always beat me, and whenever he comes to Hyderabad, he has always a party, and I'm invited for the party. The last message he told me was, sir, don't worry, you got anything in life, just ring me up in a mobile phone or office phone, or you just ring me up, anything you want. That's the last sentence he spoke to me, and I have very close still, because you see, between the instructor and the student in the defense services is like guru and student, unlike in the civil. Here, when you're instructor, you're always the instructor, and you're looked up with a lot of reverence and awe. Okay, so therefore, in any instructor, I've been instructor in so many countries, so many courses, so many institutions. There are a lot of my officers or my instructors, they're still in touch with me. They call me, whatever the rank they hold, but still they give me a lot of respect and reverence. Okay. So that's the relations I have with General Bipin Rawat, and his demise, untimely demise, is my personal loss.
Okay. So, when did you last met him?
Just before you took over as the Chief of Defence Staff in 2019, He came to Hyderabad as the chief of the army staff to say farewell. That maybe in December 2019 I met him last.
Okay, 2019. So almost 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So unexpectedly it has happened. So let us soul rest in peace.
Let God.
So what else, sir? You want to tell anything to the society from your side?
Yes, I want to say that India has lost one of the finest soul. General Bipin Rawat, he served the country very well. He was a very dedicated soldier, but he is no longer with us. God bless his soul, and God bless his wife. Also, may his soul rest in peace. And I want to say that you must be very happy that one of the finest defense services, Army, Navy, Air Force, is protecting you. So you can absolutely be rest assured that this defense services will protect you. No enemy can come to any harm to you. You are in the very, very safe hands, and Indian Army or Indian Defence Services, one of the best in the world. I can tell you with confidence, one of the best. So therefore, you are lucky to be a citizen of the country where you've been protected by the best armed forces in the world. That's what I want to say.
Right, sir. Thank you so much. And after retirement, what was your passing time?
I have not retired. I'm still working.
Oh.
See, after retirement, I took up a job in the bank. I was the general manager in a syndicate bank. Okay. Thereafter transferred to Bank of India. I was the general manager personal. I served in both the banks as the general manager. Okay. Then later on I was the CEO of the Secunderabad Club.
Okay.
Later on I served as the secretary to the Nizam of Hyderabad, the title holder, and managed the all the 21 trust of Nizam Trust. And as you know, only Nizam of Hyderabad is known as His Exalted Highness. His Exalted Highness. But others all known as His Highness Maharaja Travancore, His Highness Maharaja so-and-so. But only Nizam is known as His Exalted Highness. Why? Because he has given a lot of aid to the British. Therefore, British allowed him to have a small little thing. Therefore, the Prince Mufakkam Jah, who is now the present title holder, he always be abroad, and he has given a power of attorney to run this establishment. Okay. So in a 9 to 10 months and a year, I was managing the affairs of all the trust of Nizam, and it's been a very satisfying. They took good care of me. It's a beautiful thing to serve the royalty, and they treat you so well, pay you so well, look after you so well, and a very nice experience. After that, I've been executive director in Swikar Upkar, which they look after the disabled people. I was there. And finally, now I'm a director of an institution which is running the government skill development program. I'm doing a skill development training for boys and girls.
So, Indian Army to skill development officer. Yes. So, different lives.
Yes, different. But
hope you are enjoying.
I'm thoroughly enjoying. You can see from my face, I'm a very happy person.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Learned so many things. Thank you so much for this beautiful time.
I thank the Myra media to give me this opportunity to interact with you all, and I wish you all the very best and a very happy New Year, and God bless. Namaste.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Please do subscribe Myra Media.
Please subscribe Myra Media. Subscribe to Myra Media.
Please like, share and subscribe to Myra Media for lot of film news, gossips and hot news.
Please like, share and subscribe to Myra Media.
For more interesting updates, please subscribe to Myra Media YouTube channel.
For more updates, please subscribe to Myra Media.
So like, share and subscribe to Myra Media.